The new Blue Lock chapter is here and it's crazy. Ego is going crazy, everyone is shocked, and most importantly, Rin is benched. So without wasting any time, let's jump right into it. We open with Isagi, dripping with sweat, dropping a bomb on the locker room. He asks one simple question: what even is ego? Think about how crazy that is. We are hundreds of chapters into a manga entirely centered around this word, and our main character is basically saying, wait, do any of us actually know what this means? Then there is an apology message from the manga staff saying that the manga is still unfinished. Anyway, Shido and Rin are also shocked by Isagi's question. Nanase, on the other hand, looks completely locked in. He thinks that Isagi has a good point, agreeing that it's a completely vague concept for him as well. Hiyori just asks them what ego is. From the back, Bachira raises his hand and says that he knows what ego means. Bachira points his finger to his head and says that ego is the monster inside everyone, which makes perfect sense for his character. Chigiri, completely calm, says Bachira is too focused on his own feelings and that he always thought ego is your essential self. Reo chimes in, calling it more self-centered for him, like the selfish portion of yourself. Yukimiya also casually agrees with Chigiri, saying it has the nuance of disregarding others selfishly. Gagamaru, however, says that he is with Chigiri this time. Otoya also agrees, saying he doesn't think that hurting someone is what ego really is. Then Isagi points out that everyone on the team has a different interpretation of the word ego, and that is exactly why Blue Lock is in trouble right now. He thinks that if they can just mutually agree on what it means to be the world's top egoist, they can find a way to overcome this hurdle. Bachira agrees with Isagi, and Aiku also agrees, thinking that they should give this method a try, but then someone says that it's a good plan. Then we see Ego entering the room with Andri, and he explains that ego refers to the playstyle of someone's life. That's how Ego defines what ego is. Isagi is in shock seeing Ego. Everyone else is also in shock seeing Ego. Ego continues his explanation, saying humans are social creatures and they can't survive without making connections with other humans. And I think here Ego's indirectly saying this to Rin because he messed up his own team's goal. He continues explaining that as soon as a human is born, they subconsciously start seeking out ways to be involved in the world. That's what Rin did in the match. Even though it was unnecessary, he still tried to score the goal. He says that's how the game called life starts. And as people explore reality and their thoughts through trial and error, they establish a sense of self. He asks the question, why do they celebrate when they score a goal? And why do they rage against their opponent when they lose? Why do they feel sad, and what do they believe in? These are the choices on how to play the game of your own life. And ego is the evolution standard of all these decisions. Ego is a compass for what sort of life they will live. This panel is so cool, it completely explained what ego really is. Then Sendu says that he understands what ego means. Otoya asks if it's like their heart's compass. Yukimiya is thinking really hard. He says what Ego said is actually true, and when his ego gets aligned with his playstyle, his performance in football also increases. Hiyori also thinks about it and says that everything Ego taught them so far, like flow, originality, and hunger, was just to force them to face their ego. Ego says Hiyori hit the spot. He explains what the world's top egoist means. It is the player who lives with a playstyle that is most suitable for being the best in the world. And Aiku smirks as he gets what ego means and asks if anyone who doesn't have that grandiose compass is just useless. Isagi is super shocked and thinks that if that is the case, then he is right. Then he remembers his luck battle with Hugo and thinks that the side of himself he found in the battle against Hugo, his playstyle as the rebel who devours only the number one players, is his ego compass. He thinks that if he just keeps honing this rebel playstyle and storms his way into becoming the world's best striker. But as he's about to finish saying that I can still, someone interrupts him, and it's Karasu with a scary look, his whole body covered in shadow. He asked Ego, saying they lost against France due to his theory. He says both Isagi and Rin followed their own egos, and that made both of them collide with each other, which messed up the goal. He thinks that if all of them try to be the world's best egoist, there is no denying that in reality, they can never win. Then we see Ego, who who is completely emotionless. Karasu continues his talk, saying some of them here have started doubting Ego's method. Karasu keeps asking Ego if they can really trust Blue Lock or if Ego is actually right. He asks Ego to tell them, will they really become the best in the world at this rate? Then Ego snaps. He starts laughing like a maniac, and this is the first time I'm seeing Ego like this. Otherwise, he is completely expressionless. Everyone in the room is shocked seeing Ego laughing like crazy. He tells them not to make him laugh. He says, trust, right? Those things don't matter. Then he leans in, still laughing creepily, and asks everyone if they forgot that Blue Lock is an experiment to create the world's best striker. From now on, everything he says is in a black text box. He says that everyone's life would be ruined. He says that everyone agreed to this insane plan, so there's no reason to show sanity now. He says that sanity can buy security, but it can't buy dreams. He says his madness fuels their madness, and their madness fuels Ego's madness, and that's how Blue Lock has made it this far. He says if anyone doubts him, they can just leave Blue Lock. No one says anything after seeing this form of Ego. Then he says that no one understands why they lost to France. He says the main reason they lost to France is not a strategic error or the enemy's strength. He breaks the screen behind him and shouts, saying they lost because some of them didn't believe they could be the world's best on the field. Isagi is in shock because his whole plan of devouring the first one is completely destroyed now. The screen is fully broken, and Ego says that they are in this mess because they are looking for other ways to live. He says that they were supposed to create the world's best striker. Blood drips from his hand due to the glass, and everyone is shocked seeing Ego this angry. Again in a black text box, he asks everyone in a rage they are doubting Ego, but what about their own egos? He then says that this is just a group league, and there's still a path to victory. He thinks this is enough for today and tells everyone to cool their heads and tells them to face tomorrow with a new kind of madness as he prepares to leave. Then Isagi tells Ego that if that's the case, he wants to drop out of the next match, and Ego stops. Henri is also in shock hearing Isagi, but Chira is also in the same state. Isagi says that, just as Ego explained, there was a time when he completely stopped trying to be the world's #1. Isagi thinks that's why the whole team fell apart, that the way they are doing things is no good, and that it's time for Blue Lock to be reborn. That's why Isagi wants to drop out of the next match. Then we see Ego expressionless again. Ego asks Isagi, reborn? And Isagi replies that he is planning to make that gamble, but Ego says that the one who's going to be dropped is not Isagi. Isagi in shock asks, what? Ego says that the one who is going to be dropped is Rin. Rin is in total shock hearing Ego. He gets very angry hearing Ego say this. And that is exactly where this insane chapter leaves us. What an absolute masterpiece of a cliffhanger. Ego is completely losing his mind. Isagi is ready to risk it all and be reborn. And Rin, the #1 player, is actually getting dropped. I did not see that coming at all. But what do you guys think? Is Ego making a massive mistake by dropping Rin? Or is this exactly the kind of madness Blue Lock needs to evolve and crush the world stage? Let me know all your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see what happens next in this crazy match, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel.